A male model from my girlfriend's agency sent me a video. In it, Isabelle Vance was getting the tattoo on her chest. My name lasered off. The pain brought tears to her eyes, streaming down her cheeks. Maybe you should stop, the model, Julian, asked with a smirk. Isabelle shook her head, her voice absolute. No, it has to go, no matter how much it hurts. I can't have people thinking I'm tied to Leo for the rest of my life. She added, I'm still young. I need to experience more men. I smiled and texted back, well, I wish her luck with that. Isabelle didn't know. I was a guardian from another reality. After my mission to save her was complete, I chose to stay. The system, as a failsafe, sealed all my mission-related memories, our entire history, within that tattoo over her heart. Now that she was removing it, I had 72 hours. Then, I would forget her completely. When Isabelle got home, I was on online marketplace, messaging a buyer. She came up behind me, wrapping her arms around my neck and leaning in close. Her breath was warm against my ear. Leo, what are you looking at? You're so focused. Then she saw the transaction page on my screen. Did you sell something? Sensing her curiosity, I shut off my phone. Just a few things that don't matter anymore, I said, my voice flat. She didn't press. She just straightened up and stretched, a lazy, cat-like motion. Oh, honey, can you make something light for dinner tonight? And definitely no spice. I played dumb. Why? I thought you couldn't live without hot sauce. Isabelle shot a quick glance at her carefully covered chest. She lied without batting an eye. My stomach's been bothering me the last few days. I need to eat clean for a bit. I looked at her, but didn't call her out. Okay. That night, I made her a simple tomato soup with grilled cheese. It's what we used to eat when we were broke, made with canned tomatoes and stale bread from the food pantry we frequented. Back then, Isabelle would eat it with a look of pure bliss. She'd said, Leo, you can make even this taste amazing. I could eat this forever. This isn't a poor man's meal, she'd whisper. This is sweet. Back then, life was hard, but we were sweet. Now, Isabelle poked at the hot soup with her spoon, a look of disgust on her face. Our lives are better now. Why are you making this stuff? She asked, her voice sharp. The past is the past. Who are you trying to make feel bad with this? Without another word, she grabbed her jacket from the sofa and walked out. I'm eating out. The moment the door clicked shut, I stared down at the bowl and gave a bitter laugh. People always say it's easy to endure hardship together, but hard to share success. I never believed it. Now I had no choice. Isabelle Vance had changed. I summoned the system and told it I wanted to leave. The system's response was tinged with an I told you so tone. In 3 days, I'll take you home. 3 days. It was enough. I would use this time to methodically relive our 13 years of memories, piece by piece. And then, I would forget her forever. I am a guardian from another reality. In the original timeline, Isabelle Vance was a secondary character doomed to a tragic end. To save her, I pulled her out of the foster care system when she was just a teenager and worked washing dishes at a diner to support her. Back then, it was 25 cents a plate. I'd wash 240 plates a day, working from dawn till dusk to make $60. 50 of that went to her community college tuition, and the other 10 was what we lived on for the day. Sometimes the diner owner would let me take home leftovers. When business was slow, it was just the food pantry. Simple tomato soup was on our table more often than not. I worked until she graduated. Then, I used my accumulated points to acquire a foresight skill from a system. I had Isabelle buy up stock in a small company making unique, handcrafted ceramic planters. The next year, a massive indoor plant craze, fueled by Instagram and TikTok, swept the nation. Isabelle made a fortune. With that seed money, and following my advice, Isabelle started a modeling agency. She signed models, built a brand. Years flew by. She became a powerhouse in the New York fashion world. At industry galas and cocktail parties, everyone addressed her respectfully as Ms. Vance. I remember when she made it big. She threw a private drone show for me. Our names were projected onto the tallest skyscraper in Manhattan, while thousands of drones formed the words love and eternity in the night sky, our initials shimmering underneath. Her cheeks were flushed, her eyes sparkling like spring water, filled with nothing but me. She threw herself into my arms, her voice trembling. Leo, I wouldn't be who I am today without you. Please, promise you'll never, ever leave me. I held her so tightly, I felt I could merge her into my very bones. I'll never leave. Leo, I love you. We kissed under the watchful eyes of the entire city, bathed in envy and blessings. It was in that moment I gave up my chance to return to my own world. The system had warned me, its voice laced with urgency. From what I know, guardians who choose to stay never have a happy ending. But I believed in Isabelle. She loved me. Her eyes couldn't lie. When she learned of my decision, she clung to me and made a solemn vow. Leo, I won't let you lose. In reality, just 2 years after I gave up my return, I noticed a change. Her agency signed a new batch of male models. Normally, new talent was assigned to the junior agents. But Julian was different. He was handpicked by Isabelle, working by her side from his very first day. A man's intuition is a powerful thing. I saw the ambition burning in Julian's eyes. I knew he wouldn't be content as just a model. I tried talking to Isabelle about it. Julian has unlimited potential, she said. I'm planning to launch him on the international stage. I can't trust anyone else to manage him. She brushed off my concerns. Relax. It's just business. Don't overthink it. You know, I only love you. Then, the final blow. We've been together for 10 years. You don't trust me? Of course, I trusted her, which is why today I was being humiliated by Julian in such a spectacular fashion. It made all those vows feel like a joke. But it would be over soon. Soon I would forget him, forget you, forget every sweet moment we ever shared. My phone buzzed. A message from the buyer on the marketplace. I want the ring. Can you guarantee it's authentic? He was still skeptical. I sent him the appraisal certificate and told him he could pay upon delivery. It seemed to put him at ease. It's just, from what I know, the emerald in this ring was bought by Isabelle Vance at auction for $5 million. She then had a famous European designer create a pair of matching rings. You're selling something worth millions for tens of thousands. Are you sure this isn't stolen? The fact that he knew the ring's history so easily was thanks to Isabelle's old habit of sharing every detail of our life on social media. Normally, for such a high-value auction item, a buyer would use an assistant, bid by phone, and keep their identity private. But not Isabelle. To show the world how much she loved me, the day she bought the emerald she announced it was for me. After the rings were made, she posted a picture of our intertwined hands, declaring I was the only one for her for life. Everyone said I must have won the lottery in a past life to find a woman who loved me so much. They told me to hold on to her and never let go. Isabelle herself replied to one of those comments. I'm the one who can't leave him. And so, the world thought I had her completely wrapped around my finger. The great Isabelle Vance, utterly devoted to me. Only I knew the truth. A happiness built on such extravagant displays is fragile. A soap bubble is only brilliant when the sun is shining on it. I replied to the buyer, don't worry. It's not stolen. He sent the payment. I scheduled the courier for the next day. I checked the time. It was already midnight. Not a single call or text from Isabelle. It used to be that she would never stay out past 10. I told her it was fine to go out with friends, to attend necessary work events, that I'd wait outside in the car for her. But she would say, putting on a fake smile for those people is a waste of time. I'd rather be home talking with you. She promised, don't worry. If I say I'll be home by 10, I'll be home by 10. I'll never make you worry. Now, if she wasn't home by 10 and I dared to call and ask, her voice would fill with irritation. I'm working. I'm making money. Do you think I have time to sit around at home all day doing nothing like you? And then, one drunken night, the truth slipped out. I'm Isabelle Vance, for God's sake. When did I need a kept man to tell me what to do? Know your place. Even though she was drunk, it was the first time I glimpsed what she truly thought. After that, realizing she'd gone too far, she bought me mountains of gifts to apologize, saying she didn't mean it, that she was never annoyed by me. But she never answered my calls again. Tonight, I was prepared for her not to answer. To my surprise, the call connected. A playful, mocking voice came from the other end. Leo, my man, Isabelle's drunk. She's clinging to me and doesn't want to go home. What should I do? By the time I arrived at the VIP lounge, Isabelle's cheeks were flushed crimson. One of her hands was already inside Julian's shirt, her eyes hazy as she stared at him. Julian, don't go home tonight. Come with me. Julian, of course, saw me standing there. He deliberately cupped Isabelle's face. Babe, if I go home with you, won't your little boyfriend get mad? At the mention of me, Isabelle pouted. How can he compare to you? She slurred. You're young, handsome, so talented. I'm crazy about you. Give me a little time, okay? I'll break up with him, and then we can be together. Okay, Julian purred. But you have to announce it to the whole city. Tell everyone you're mine. He pinched the soft flesh of her waist. Isabelle let out a soft gasp. I promise. Then the two of them kissed, long and deep, as if they were the only two people in the world. Honestly, in this moment, I should be feeling rage, despair, the heart-shredding pain of ants devouring my bones. But all I felt was a dull, dense ache in my chest. Nothing more. It seemed the side effects of the tattoo removal had begun. When the system sealed my memories and love for Isabelle into the tattoo, it created a link. Now that the link was fading, my emotions were weakening, becoming muted. I could watch the woman I once loved kiss another man, and then silently guide her into my car. Julian stood nearby, arms crossed, sneering at me. She doesn't even like you anymore. Why are you still clinging to her? If I were you, I'd take the hint and break up. You might even get a decent severance package. He leaned in conspiratorially. A woman's heart can't be tied down. Once she gets a taste of something new, something fresh, she'll never forget it. He paused, a cruel glint in his eye. Oh, and one more thing. You know how she covered up your name? Do you know where she tattooed my name? He didn't have to spell it out. He knew I would check. So, when I was changing Isabelle out of her clothes and into her pajamas, I saw it. On her inner thigh, a small heart with the letters Joy. A wave of profound absurdity washed over me. I remembered when she got my name tattooed over her heart. She said it was because she held me in her heart. So what exactly did the tattoo on her inner thigh signify? I didn't dare to think about it. I settled her in the master bedroom and spent a sleepless night in the guest room. The next morning, Isabelle woke up from her drunken stupor. She saw she was in our bedroom. Her clothes changed, and her face went pale. When she came out, she saw me handing a package to a courier. She hesitated before asking, Did you bring me home last night? I nodded. Yeah, was. Was anyone else there? I looked up at her, at the guilt written all over her face. I told her the truth. Julian was there. Isabelle's heart skipped a beat. She didn't know how I'd found her or what I'd seen. She could only stammer out an explanation. I ran into him when I went out for dinner, so we just ate together. You're not mad, are you? I continued tidying up the living room. No, it's just. Isabelle froze. Just what? Now that you've had the laser removal, you should probably avoid alcohol to prevent infection. Isabelle let out a breath she didn't realize she was holding. Oh, that? I only removed it because it looks bad with strapless gowns. You know, I'm dealing with people in politics and finance now. It wouldn't look good if they saw I had a tattoo. Don't read too much into it. I'm not, I said, my voice empty. She had the answer she wanted, but she didn't look happy. She could tell something was off about my reaction. She switched tactics, trying to coax me with a playful, coddling tone. Okay, I was wrong about yesterday. How about we go see a movie? You know that film you love? The sequel just came out. I'll go with you, okay? Amazing that she still remembered. I agreed. But just as we were getting our tickets checked, I overheard the attendant muttering to a colleague. Didn't miss. Vance just ran out the whole theater for the premiere yesterday. Why is she here again today? The attendant saw me and immediately fell silent. She didn't have to say anything else. I knew exactly who she had watched it with yesterday. Inside the theater, I stared at the screen, at the movie I had been waiting 4 years to see. I felt nothing but a profound sense of boredom. It wasn't that the movie was bad. It was that the person who'd watched the first one with me 4 years ago was no longer really with me. In the dark theater, the only light came from the phone screen in Isabelle's hand. She had a privacy screen protector on, so I couldn't see what she was typing. But from the speed of her fingers and the way she kept glancing towards the back of the theater, I understood. Julian had bought a ticket for the same showing. Soon enough, Isabelle whispered that she had to use the restroom. I nodded slowly. I watched her walk out of the theater, and then saw another man get up and follow her. I trailed behind them. Babe, you promised you'd introduce me to the editor-in-chief of Vogue today, Julian whined. Why'd you flake? Isabelle pinched his cheek. I have to smooth things over with him first, don't I? Then I can spend time with you. All right, don't be mad. How about I buy you a car later? I'm not with you for your money. Isabelle got the hint. I'll arrange a solo feature for you in next quarter's issue. And I've already got the designer clothes set aside for you. Julian was finally satisfied. To thank you, I'll just have to work extra hard for you. In bed, as he spoke, he glanced over his shoulder directly at me. He leaned in and whispered something in Isabelle's ear. A flicker of something crossed her eyes. She pulled out her phone and started typing. My phone vibrated. A new message from Isabelle. Something came up at the office. I have to go. I replied with a simple okay. Then I opened my notes app and put a red X next to go to the movies. There were 10 items on the list. It was the plan I had made for these last 3 days, a list of the 10 most unforgettable memories from our 13 years together. 8 items left. 60 hours until I forgot her. A new text came in from Julian. A taunt. Isabelle is so easy. I just mentioned I bought a new collar, and she left with me. You've been with her all these years, and you never knew what a wild woman she really is, did you? She always said you were boring, predictable. No fun at all. He followed it up with several explicit photos. I didn't reply. Instead, I sent a message to Isabelle. Want to go camping tonight? I knew she wouldn't answer, but for every item on my checklist, I sent her an invitation first. Want to fly a kite on the Great Lawn? Want to go to a comedy show? Want to go to the amusement park? Want to watch the fireworks? Want to watch the sunset from a pier? Every message went into a void. The last item on the list in my notes app was, celebrate our 13th anniversary together. 10 hours left until I was gone. That day, I cooked a huge spread of her favorite dishes. I ordered a 3-tiered cake and bought a bouquet of her favorite lilies of the valley. Everything was ready. 5 hours left. I called her, asking if she could come home early today. She readily agreed, saying she was on her way home from buying me a gift. It's our anniversary today. Of course, I didn't forget. But an hour passed. Then 2. With an hour and a half until midnight, a message arrived from Julian. It was a picture of a one-of-a-kind designer ring on his finger, a ring Isabelle had just bought for him. Leo, my man, Isabelle insisted on giving this to me. Should I accept? She said it's a gift for our 4-year anniversary. All right, isn't today your 13th anniversary with her? Let me give you some advice. 13 years, and she still hasn't married you. You should probably give up hope. Just get out of the picture. I made one last call to Isabelle. She didn't answer. Instead, I forwarded a file to the marketing firm and the building management of the skyscraper, where Isabelle had once broadcast our names to the world. I told them to run it at 8 o'clock the next morning, right on schedule. Since Julian wanted a grand, public declaration of his relationship with Isabelle, I would give him one. The fee was exactly $50,000, the money I got from selling the ring. The minute hand on the clock began its final rotation. I sent Isabelle one last message. Let's break up. The countdown timer hit 0. Every memory I had of Isabelle Vance was instantly, completely erased. Without waiting for a reply, I threw my phone from the high-rise balcony, sending it sailing into the darkness. And with that, I said goodbye to everything here. I was back in my own world. Everything that happened felt like a dream I could no longer recall. I started living a normal life. On the other side, Isabelle felt a strange tightness in her chest, a deep discomfort. She rubbed the spot, only to find the skin where the tattoo used to be was red and inflamed. The slightest touch sent a jolt of pain through her, making her wince. It was already past midnight. She had missed their anniversary. Her plan had been to buy the gift and go straight home. But Julian had called, saying he was being harassed by a brand representative at dinner. He was her man, and she wouldn't stand for anyone messing with her people. She thought she could just pick him up and leave, but somehow he convinced her to go back to his place. After fooling around for hours, she glanced at her phone and saw it was 12:30 a.m. She didn't know what had gotten into Leo the last couple of days, constantly texting her about doing this or that. She'd found it so annoying, she'd muted his notifications. But annoying or not, their 13th anniversary was still important. She got dressed, ready to leave. Julian wrapped his arms around her waist, trying to stop her. The anniversary is already over. Just stay here tonight. It's the same if you go back in the morning. He added, don't worry. Leo won't be mad. The old Isabelle might have stayed. But tonight, she was determined to go home. On the drive, she used her car's voice assistant to call Leo. It rang and rang, unanswered. She pressed down on the accelerator, racing home. The first thing she saw was the dining table, covered in all her favorite foods, a huge cake, and a bouquet of her favorite lilies of the valley. She leaned in to smell them. The flowers were still fresh, the food still warm. He must have gotten tired of waiting and gone up to bed, she thought. A wave of relief washed over her. As long as Leo still put in the effort to surprise her, it meant he still loved her. And as long as he loved her, she could smooth this over. She placed the watch she'd bought for him on the table and went upstairs to find him. But she searched every room. Leo wasn't there. She was confused, but also felt a secret thrill of glee. If Leo wasn't here, then she wasn't the one who stood him up. She already had her story planned. Whenever he got back, she would claim she'd been waiting for him for hours. She would make him apologize to her. But Leo didn't come home that night. The next morning, she was jolted awake by a call from her assistant. Ms. Vance, you need to see the news. It's a disaster. Isabelle, who was notoriously grumpy when woken up, cursed out her assistant before opening Twitter. It was the #1 trending topic. Isabelle Vance of Vance Artists in Affair with In-House Model. The love story of the century now, a sick joke. Just reading the headline made Isabelle's face drain of color. Her hands trembled as she read the article, then immediately texted her assistant. Get PR on this now. I want it contained. The assistant's voice was frantic. They've already taken down the projection on the skyscraper and the ads, but thousands of people saw it. Ms. Vance, you need to get to the office now. Isabelle threw on some clothes, ready to head to the office, when it hit her that Leo had been gone all night. She wondered if he'd seen the news. She may have been playing around, but it was just a temporary thrill. When she was done, she fully intended to spend the rest of her life with Leo. She left for the office, calling Leo's number again and again. Still no answer. She had her car's AI pull up their message history, planning to tell him to stay put, not to talk to any reporters, that this was all a setup to frame her. But when a message thread opened, she saw the last text he'd sent her. "Let's break up." The timestamp was 11:59 p.m. He had waited for her until the very last minute. Panic set in. She tried calling again through the car's system. Still, the call wouldn't connect. Her assistant called again, saying the office was swarmed with reporters. Julian was trapped in his car, unable to get out. Meanwhile, other models at the agency, long resentful of the preferential treatment Julian received, started anonymously leaking stories to the press. With everything piling up at once, Isabelle's head throbbed. For a split second, she lost focus and swerved, crashing into a guardrail. Her forehead slammed against the windshield. She ended up in the hospital, and the press found out almost immediately, surrounding the building and disrupting its normal operations. Left with no choice, Isabelle, a fresh bandage wrapped around her head, agreed to a press conference. But she just kept repeating the same line, over and over. "These are baseless rumors. My lawyers will be issuing cease and desist letters, and the people responsible will face legal consequences." A reporter immediately shot back, "Ms. Vance, if these are just rumors, would you be willing to have Mr. Leo come forward and clarify?" Isabelle glared at the reporter. "Leo is a private citizen. He will not be making an appearance. From what we know," another reporter pushed, "your entire career was built with Mr. Leo's support. In the early days of your agency, it was his keen eye that discovered the supermodels who made your company a success." The reporter pressed on, "So, to say he's a private citizen isn't quite accurate, is it? Are you afraid to let him speak? Was he also kept in the dark about this affair? After that grand, public declaration of love, doesn't he deserve better? Was it all just a lie?" The wound on her head began to throb again. She had her bodyguards push the reporters away. She went home. Leo still wasn't there. His phone still wouldn't connect. For the first time, she understood how Leo must have felt all those times she ignored his calls. But she held on to the belief that he wouldn't truly leave her. They had been together for 13 years. He had given up his entire world for her. If she could just explain, get through this crisis, she would stop playing around. She would settle down and be good to him. But with each unanswered call, her frustration grew into a raging inferno, and she started screaming curses into the empty house. It was then that the housekeeper brought her a phone. "Ms. Vance, this phone has been ringing nonstop. I think it's Mr. Leo's." Isabelle snatched the phone. It was his, but why was it in the back garden? She typed in her own birthday, and it unlocked easily. All these years, he had never changed the password. She, on the other hand, she couldn't even remember the last time her password was his birthday. She even had a second, secret phone to hide things from him. The phone's home screen was clean, with only a few essential apps. She opened his messages and saw her own name. The last messages were from yesterday, all unanswered. Desperate for clues, she went through every app on the phone. Finally, in the Notes app, she found something. A checklist. The items on the list were the same things he had texted her about over the last 2 days. All small, simple activities. Every item had a red X drawn through it. At first, she didn't understand. Then she saw the 10th item. Celebrate our 13th anniversary together. It hit her like a punch to the gut. She remembered. Years ago, not long after they got together, they had made a pact to do the 100 things every couple should do. But she got too busy, so Leo shortened it to 10 things a year. This year was the final 10. So that's why he had been sending her all those suggestions. Every year, he would plan everything out, and even if she wasn't thrilled, she always went along with it. So he was angry because she didn't do it with him this year. If that was always, she could still fix this. The year wasn't over. She still had a chance. But it's never just one thing that breaks you. Just then, a message notification popped up on the phone screen. Isabelle opened it. It was from an unknown number. The message read, "Leo, this business with me and Isabelle is everywhere. If you have any self-respect, you'll get lost. Stop wasting her time. You don't know, do you? Isabelle just told me she's going to use this opportunity to announce that we're together. She's done with you, old man. She stopped loving you a long time ago." Isabelle scrolled up through the chat history. The more she read, the more horrified she became. She thought she had hidden everything so well, but from the very first step she took over the line, Leo had known. Her heart pounded in her chest. The phantom pain over her old tattoo flared up again. She ripped open her shirt and looked. The skin was covered in tiny, white pustules. She felt like she couldn't breathe. Perhaps tired of waiting for a response from Leo, the person on the other end got impatient and called directly. Leo, I'm only calling you bro out of respect, but Isabelle is mine now. I'm telling you to get the hell out, you hear me? It was Julian. Oh, and yesterday was your 13th anniversary, right? I deliberately tricked her, told her I was getting wasted, and she dropped everything to come find me. Do you have any idea how many positions we tried last night? How many condoms we went through? Before Julian could finish, Isabelle screamed into the phone. Julian, that's enough. Who gave you permission to bother Leo? Who told you to say those things? Hearing Isabelle's voice, Julian panicked. He never imagined that, even after all this, Leo would still be with her. But he'd already said too much to back down now. Babe, you're the one who said you were looking for a chance to break up with him and be with me. This is the perfect opportunity. All you have to do is say you two broke up a while ago and we got together. All our problems will be solved. Isabelle's reply was ice cold. I will never be with you. The only person I will ever marry is Leo. How is that possible? Babe, that's not what you said. You promised me. Isabelle was ruthless. You can't believe things people say when they're drunk. Not only that, she began to threaten him. And you're the one who started all of this. You go and explain it. Say you made the whole thing up, that you drugged me and took those pictures. If you do that, I can still give you enough money to go abroad and live comfortably. But if you don't listen, I can make sure you never work in this country again. No agency will touch you. Hearing her absolute cruelty, Julian finally seemed to understand the kind of person she truly was. Fine, you see that, as you wish. Hearing Julian agree to her terms, Isabelle breathed a sigh of relief. Now all she had to do was find Leo and explain everything. But she sent out teams of people, and they all came back with nothing. His belongings were still in the house. His social security number, his ID, everything was still active. But the man himself, it was as if he had simply vanished from the face of the earth. Vanished. Something clicked in Isabelle's mind. She remembered, right before she was about to get his name tattooed on her chest, Leo had told her something. I'm sealing my memories inside your tattoo. If you ever stop loving me, just have it removed. I'll forget you forever, and I'll leave. At the time, she thought he was joking. She told him she would never remove it, that she would love him forever. It seemed that all the strangeness had started right after she had the tattoo removed. So, he wasn't joking after all. Just then, Leo's phone buzzed again. It was a notification from the online marketplace. Isabelle remembered him selling something, but she hadn't paid it any mind. Now, looking at the transaction page, she realized what he'd sold. The engagement ring she had given him. For only $50,000. With a trembling hand, Isabelle opened the message thread with the buyer. Without even looking at the previous messages, she typed frantically, "Name your price for the ring. I'm buying it back." The buyer, who had just been praising Leo for being a decent seller, was instantly annoyed. He asked if she had some kind of problem, that the deal was done. What was the meaning of buying it back now? Isabelle didn't care. She typed, "This is Isabelle Vance. My boyfriend sold that ring. I want it back." The buyer's response was immediate. "So you're Isabelle Vance, the one all over the news for cheating. No wonder your fiancé sold the ring. You don't deserve something like this. And now that you've told me who you are, there's no way in hell I'm selling it back to you. Let me be honest, I don't need the money. I was interested in the ring because it symbolizes loyalty and devotion. But looking at you, I'd rather throw this ring in the river than give it back to you." The user blocked her. Isabelle immediately ordered her assistant to track the person down using their user ID. But her assistant told her to check Julian's Instagram Live first. He had started a live stream 3 minutes ago, titled "Clearing Up the Rumors." Isabelle told her assistant not to worry, that Julian was just going to take all the blame. They had already agreed on a price. The words had barely left her mouth when she heard Julian's voice from the phone. "The stories you've seen online are all true. I am in a relationship with Isabelle Vance, the owner of Vance Artists. But she forced me into it. She told me if I didn't please her, she would have me blacklisted from the entire industry. I'm just a normal person with no connections. I was scared, so I gave in and became her dirty little secret. Now that everything is out in the open, she's threatening me, telling me to take all the blame. Otherwise, she'll make sure I can't survive in New York. I'm terrified. I hope you can all help me. I'm genuinely afraid that one day I might just disappear." Those last words, "disappear," triggered something in Isabelle. She furiously typed insults into the live chat, demanding to know why he was breaking his promise, why he was spreading lies, why he was slandering her. It was he who had seduced her, but no one would believe her. Models from her agency began resigning in droves, willing to pay millions in breach of contract penalties just to get away. "The company's going under. Why would we stay? You deserve this, you fickle bitch. You had a great fiancé, and you threw him away to cheat. You deserve to watch your empire crumble. The stock price for Vance artists plummeted. The company was boycotted nationwide. Without Leo, she didn't even have the ability to save her own company. Her thoughts returned to the tattoo. If removing the tattoo made Leo forget her, then getting it back, would that bring it back too? The idea took root. She ran to a tattoo parlor, revealing her infected, pus-filled chest, and demanded the artist re-tattoo Leo's name in the exact same spot. The tattoo artist took one look at the mess on her chest and shook his head. This is badly infected. You need to let it heal before you even think about getting more ink. Isabelle didn't care. No, the sooner it's back to how it was, the sooner Leo will come back. She pulled a box cutter from her purse and held it to her own throat. If the artist didn't do it, she would die right there in his shop. Left with no choice, the artist began. Getting a tattoo is painful enough. Getting one on an open, infected wound was agonizing. Pus and blood mixed, running down her chest and onto both of them. The artist felt sick to his stomach, but Isabelle wore a look of rapturous hope. As long as Leo's name was there, he would come back. Hours later, the name, caked in blood, reappeared. Isabelle looked at her reflection in the mirror and smiled, her lips pale and cracked. Leo the tattoo is back. Please come back soon. Isabelle stumbled out of the shop like a phantom, the front of her shirt soaked in blood. She was swaying, a terrifying smile on her face, muttering to herself. The tattoo artist called 911. He was genuinely afraid she would die. But at the hospital, while the police were distracted, Isabelle slipped away and went home. She was afraid Leo would come back and not find her there. A day passed. A week. Leo never appeared. She smashed everything in the house over and over until she thought of Julian again. Yes, it must be him. It's because of him that Leo hasn't come back. Late one night, under the cover of darkness, she snuck into Julian's apartment. She stood over his sleeping form and pressed a kitchen knife to his throat. The cold steel on his neck woke Julian with a start. He opened his eyes to see Isabelle staring down at him like a madwoman. He screamed and tried to run, but the unhinged Isabelle gave him no chance. She plunged the knife deep into his abdomen, then again and again, stabbing every part of his body. Julian collapsed in a pool of his own blood, his eyes wide open dead. Isabelle walked back to her own house and began to whisper to the empty rooms. Leo, everything is back to how it was. There's no one else now. Please, won't you come back? But it wasn't Leo she was waiting for. It was the police. She had made no attempt to clean up the murder scene. A quick check of the security cameras showed she was the only person who entered Julian's apartment last night. The evidence was irrefutable. They put her in handcuffs, but she fought them, screaming like a wild animal. If I leave, Leo won't be able to find me. I'm not going. I'm not going. She shoved past an officer and tried to escape through a window, forgetting she was on the third floor. The moment she jumped, her right leg shattered on impact. The infected tattoo wound on her chest, already septic, combined with the shock of the fall, sent her into blackness. The next time I saw the system, it was 3 months later. He brought me news. Isabelle Vance was dead. The infection in her chest was severe, the system said. She refused all medical treatment, claiming that if the wound healed, you would never come back. The wound festered, the infection spread. She died of sepsis. It was a painful death. I listened without expression. Having forgotten all our history, all the love and hate, the name Isabelle Vance meant nothing more to me than a stranger's. I have another mission for you, the system continued. If you complete it successfully, I can heal your leg. I shook my head. No, thank you. The whole reason I had agreed to save Isabelle in the first place was to fix the limp I was left with. But the outcome had been less than ideal. Even though the love was gone, I could still remember the echo of the pain. It was real. I didn't want to go through that a second time. I'm doing pretty well now, I said. I opened a small bookstore. Kids from a neighborhood come by every day to chat and keep me company. I'm content with this life. Seeing my resolve, the system didn't try to persuade me further. It simply said, I wish you peace. I smiled. I will have it.